What's going on, everybody? It is your boy JD Oracle, and I'm on the DSM Media Mini. This is the first time we've done this, so this is my first mini episode. It's not part of the UFO family, but it's a part of the DSM family. For those of you guys who are watching on YouTube and watching on all the other platforms, we already got a couple comments coming in, and it tells you everything from the title. Man, we're gonna be talking about the men and women's basketball national teams. And it's been kind of crazy so far if anybody has been watching or anything like that, because it's just been craziness. It's been bizarre craziness all over the place, and it's kind of because we don't really know for sure who's doing anything and what's happening. And I know that because when you start looking at all the different things that are happening, you have to start looking at the way that they started. And the way that they started was very badly. And they started very badly for a couple different reasons, and I'll be the first to tell you that it's not based on one player. It's the way that the team was constructed, and I think it was based on the fact that all of our stars didn't come. Like, we talked about this on UFO, and I'm pretty sure that we talked about Scotty and Scotty Talks. They talked about it on Daily Dose and all the other shows on DSM Media, and we've even had some comments and some commentary about it within our group chat, the DSM Media group chat. And I think basically that because our players decide they don't want to play for their nation, we end up getting stuck with the guys who are basically the left behinds. And that sucks because you don't want anybody to feel like they're the left behinds or anything like that. But that's just where we at with it. These are some people are just the left behinds, and the people that just are left, like literally are left, and we just had to grab those guys and the guys who really wanted the extra reps and playing. So the only real marquee guy that we have that I would say is a marquee superstar is KD. In that, and maybe Tatum is on the come up, and D Booker, when he gets there, he's gonna be on the come up, and you got some guys that are on the come up, but you don't really have but one real superstar because everybody opted out. You don't have the LeBron James of the world. You don't have the Steph Currys. You don't have even the Hardens. You don't have these guys, and these guys are perennial all-stars. I'm really probably going to end up being Hall of Famers. I know with LeBron and Steph, they're definitely Hall of Famers. KD too, Hall of Fame guys that could be on this team and really leading this team to some type of victory. But right now, we got left with the guys that the maybe not as good guys, and that really does suck because there's not a whole lot to really make of that. I would like to go ahead and throw this out as well, because I know for a fact that this is a situation where we're going to have some people that may not like what I have to say, and you might not like it, and I'm sorry that you may not. And the cool thing about it is you can always click off if you don't like it, but there's also a part of me that wants to be honest with you guys about this whole situation. So being transparent today, the second player to leave the team was Kevin Love. The first player was Bradley Beal, but he was put on some type of health and protocols or whatever, and I think that was all BS. It's just they've been losing, so they about to trim some fat. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's normal with a national team, but yeah, but you went in with the national team being set. It wasn't like you were, we're going to do tryouts or whatever. They didn't do that. No mini camp. This is basically their mini camp, and they're deciding that this team, that the way that they've already constructed it, is not a good enough team, and I don't blame them. This team is not a good enough team to go into the United States, going to the Olympics, representing the United States. We will get beat. It will be, and we'll need to come back with a redeemed team to redeem this team that we currently have if we don't make some changes and add some key pieces. We didn't have any post guys. From the rumor right now is that they're bringing in JaVale McGee as a post player for the national team, which is fine. We talked about him yesterday on the show. I would love them to go get either Karl-Anthony Towns or to go get the kid Wiseman from the Warriors. Or go get Steph. You just need somebody, because right now you have no type of leadership, and it's showing really badly. It's showing through their play. They're showing between the ways that they're winning and who they're losing to. Losing to Australia, I think, was an eye opener for a lot of people, because Australia is they have a good solid core, but Patty Mills isn't a leading scorer of any team. He shouldn't be leading anybody in scoring. Because the way that he plays the position. Thibault's been playing really well. Sorry. Whoa, that was really weird. Yeah, Thibault, he's actually been decent in these games, and maybe giving Philadelphia fans something to look at and something to chew on with all the trade rumors going on with Ben Simmons. And that's another conversation for another day. But that leads me to my next point, that United States struggled with Australia without their perennial number one guy, which would have been Ben Simmons. They didn't have him, and they still beat the United States. And I think that scared the United States, and I hope that scared them straight into going to get a good team, not just an all-star team with all scoring. You needed a rim protector, you need a defender, you need somebody to rebound. You need all these things, because in the NBA and in international play, they're not playing a soft game. Somebody mentioned going to get Dwight Howard for the national team. And to be honest with you, after I thought about it, after it was said last night, I was kind of like, no at first. But now, the more I think about it, the way they're calling these international games and being a little bit more lenient on the aggression and, letting these guys play and be more aggressive and be more physical, I believe that that's the right choice. I really do. I believe that that's the right choice in regards to taking Dwight Howard and making him an enforcer for this team, or JaVale McGee, making them enforcers. They don't have to play the entire game, but they need to come in and play some quality minutes when we need them to, in order to win this gold medal. Like, that's just the situation. And, that's just where we at with it. I would like to throw something out there as kind of like a little bit of kind of like some eye candy, something that we've been talking about. Me and my guys have been talking about for a while, but the fact that they're releasing Bradley Beal and Kevin Love, and they're both saying that they're both going for different reasons, but I think that just keeps the questions down for most people. But it's just a really convenient time that everybody's saying that the U.S. team is struggling, and then these two guys leave who haven't really produced anything. Like, Kevin Love hasn't done really much, and neither has Bradley Beal, especially when Bradley Beal leads the league in scoring, or was second in scoring or something for the scoring championship this year, and he only had 12 points. 12, and I think the other bit, but nothing major. He wasn't leading the team in scoring. And I think that just goes to show you that sometimes when you take these guys out of their element where they can shoot a bunch of shots and you have to be efficient, he's not efficient. So for the Philly fans who've been wanting Bradley Beal, because Dame has played decent. I want to say that Dame has led them in scoring, and that gives me some reason to think that, okay, maybe he could come and be something. But it also gives me kind of pause, because at the end of the day, like, he hasn't been able to lead them past some of these other teams that aren't as good as the teams in the NBA when they're constructed properly. I don't think that Australia is beating any of these top teams in the NBA. So to think that Dame would only have 22 in these games against them, it kind of gives me pause, because he's only got 22, and they're not even putting a whole lot of emphasis on Dame because they got to worry about KD. So that makes me believe that in Philly, where they would still not have to put much emphasis on Dame, they would have to put a lot of focus on Joel Embiid, that Dame could kind of fall into the mix of only having about 20-something points. And that's still not what we need to get over the hump. And I think that's what I'm trying to get everybody to see from the last couple of weeks of having these conversations about Dame. And then, like, okay, well, if you're not Dame, then who? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's the only thing about being a Philly fan right now, is there's no clear, concise answer to what fixes our problem, and I don't think Dame is the answer. It would be nice to have him, but you need Dame plus somebody else. You need another backcourt player, and a lot of people are going to say, oh, you got Steph Curry, and Steph Curry is fine, but Steph Curry creates another problem because he can't play defense, and that has been an Achilles heel for Steph, because then they just go at him. They still got a decision to make about Danny Green, and that's something we'll talk about on a later episode as well. And just to kind of wrap this thing up, is we've been talking a little bit about them seeking a replacement. So who would be the replacement? They've already said JaVale McGee for one. Would you go for another post player, to help out? Would you go try to grab Dwight Howard? Would you go try to grab Karl-Anthony Towns? Would you go try to grab Wiseman? Who would you go grab? In your opinion, would you go grab another guard because you lost Bradley Beal? Or, like, what would you do? I honestly believe in my heart of hearts that I would go grab another post player. I think that or a pure point guard. So either like a Steph Curry or somebody to facilitate. It would have to be somebody who would be able to facilitate. Maybe even Harden. If Harden would play, I know he already said no. Or I would love to see Kyrie play. I mean, Kyrie and them kind of got out of the playoffs in a weird way with a lot of the players not playing. I would love to see either Harden or Kyrie playing in this thing. And, you know, I think that would be good for them because they kind of got out in like a weird way. Nobody wants to see Klay play. I think Klay needs to get ready for the season, like Carm said yesterday. I'm not really sure. I just honestly believe it should be a really good guard that can facilitate, or a true big that can dominate the paint. And that's just where we at with it. Guys, we're at 13 minutes. This is a mini episode.